Tonight on News 30, two more are in the race for the presidential candidates for the election in 2016.
And 5 years later, BP is still cleaning up from the spill in the Gulf of Mexico.
Welcome to News 30. I'm Lindsay Skinner.
And I'm Jake Nelson. Cuba has been on this list for the past 33 years. President Obama announced on Tuesday that they will be taken off the Americans Terrorism Watch list. President Obama met with Cuban President Raul Castro in Panama last weekend at the Summit of the Americas. This is the first step toward U.S. businesses entering Cuba like Netflix. The embargo is still in place, so planes and cruises won't be going to Cuba anytime soon.
As of this Tuesday, Marco Rubio is officially running for presidential office in 2016. Hillary Clinton has announced that she is running on the Democratic ticket, while contenders Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, and Jeb Bush are on the GOP ticket. Key issues in the upcoming election will deal with minority rights, immigration reform, and abortion. Senator Rubio currently follows close behind Senator Bush and Senator Cruz in the GOP polls, while Clinton remains the only major contender on the Democratic ticket.
April 19th will mark 20 years since the Oklahoma City bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. 168 people were killed in the blast, 19 being children, and over 500 people were injured. 20 years later, the state will come together and remember those lives and how Oklahoma joined together as one committee to the Oklahoma Standards. The Remembrance Ceremony is the featured event for the day and will begin at 8:45 as visitors from across the country and world join together. Everyone will observe 168 seconds of silence at 9:02, as it has been done for years past. Following will be a program of hope and healing as we remember the tragic day 20 years ago.
Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin signed a ban late Monday on intact dilation and evacuation, a common second trimester abortion procedure. Kansas banned the procedure last week. The procedure prohibits doctors from using clamps, scissors, or similar instruments to remove fetus in pieces. This bill bans the procedure except when necessary to save a woman's life or a serious health risk will be done to the mother. Republican Governor Mary Fallin signed the legislation after it was overwhelmingly approved by the House and the Senate.
The board that oversees juvenile corrections in Oklahoma is reevaluating its policy to allow the use of pepper spray to be used in juvenile security officers. In its March meeting, several Office of Juvenile Affairs board members vowed to examine the way that discontinues its use. Staff, however, say they need pepper spray to keep the facility safe. Office of Juvenile Affairs Administrator Robert Morey said that although agency's ruler allow pepper sprays to be used in a number of circumstances, staff are instructed to use it as a last resort. No action was taken on this policy, but the board is expected to revisit its issue in May.
The Board of Commissioners of Shawnee will be appointing a new Ward 1 City Commissioner. The new commissioner will hold the position until the next general election and an official qualified commissioner is chosen. Shawnee Ward 1 residents aged 25 and older qualify to apply for the seat. The Citizen Potawatomi Nation has spoken out against the appointment process, claiming the people should vote on the seat instead of the committee. Ward 1 Shawnee residents can pick up an application at www.shawneeok.org or in the city clerk office. After the most devastating oil spill the U.S. has seen, the Gulf of Mexico is still on the process of being cleaned up. And April 14th was Equal Pay Day. We look at how women in the workforce are fighting against the wage gap next. April 18th is Trash Off Day in Shawnee. The event is hosted by the City of Shawnee Parks Department, who has invited anyone wanting to volunteer to head out to the Kids Space Park on the 18th at 9 a.m. for an effort to clean our state and city. The event will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Shawnee is providing safety vests and trash bags. All you have to do is show up to Kids Space Park to receive the supplies and head to a location the city has listed. It'll be a fun time to take pride in our city. 5 years ago, the Gulf of Mexico was subject to the largest oil spill in U.S. history. After an explosion of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig, more than 200 million gallons of crude oil began spilling out. The BP oil spill in April 2010 has been considered the worst environmental disaster in U.S. history. If you were to look at the Gulf now, it seems like everything is back to normal. Despite outward appearance, cleanup is still required. Though enough of the tar has been cleared for most of the Gulf to look clean, there are still several large clumps of tar mats needed to be removed by crews.
Equal Pay Day was this past Tuesday, and we talked with the U.S. State Department of Global Women's Issues about how they are fighting for gender equality. The United States is strongly committed to advancing gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls. The Secretary's Office of Global Women's Issues at the U.S. Department of State works to ensure that the rights of women and girls are fully integrated into U.S. foreign policy. Under the leadership of Ambassador-at-Large for Global Women's Issues, Kathy Russell, the office works to promote peace and prosperity and security around the world by empowering women and girls to fully participate in all aspects of society. For more information on how to get involved in the fight for gender equality, go to heforshe.org. Oklahoma Baptist University has a lot of sports like basketball, volleyball, football, but one unique sport is Quidditch, and this team had a special opportunity. Here's Reagan McGowan with more.
Last weekend, the Oklahoma Baptist University
Quidditch team competed at the Quidditch World Cup in Rock Hill, South Carolina. To learn more about what exactly Quidditch is and how the team did at the World Cup, I spoke with the president of the team, Chandler Smith. I also asked how the team did at World Cup this year. The Oklahoma City Zoo is finally receiving their new additions. The two Asian elephants from the Seattle Woodland Park Zoo were supposed to be moved to the Oklahoma City Zoo a while ago, but because of Seattle and the protests there, the transfer was delayed. They began their trip, however, on April 15th. Bamboo and Shy made the 2,000-mile journey, which took about 40 hours to reach the Oklahoma City Zoo. Now the zoo will begin the steps to socialize the two to the current herd, which include 4 females and 1 male.
Well, the weather has either been warm or rainy. We will see what the weather is in store for us next week with Tiami Cortez next.
It's definitely tornado season around the country, and there are some precautions everyone can make for their own personal safety. One way is always having a disaster supply kit packed and ready. Rescue workers and local officials will be at the site of disaster quickly, but sometimes it takes long periods of time to reach everyone. Having a 72-hour kit can help you and your family cope until help arrives. Some things to keep packed include water, food, first aid supplies, clothing and bedding, tools and emergency supplies, and special items. Creating a smaller kit like this one to keep in your car is also a great step to take.
We hope everyone will keep safe this tornado season. It was great sunny day today, but there may be more storms headed our way. Here's Tiami Cortez with weather.
Thank you, Jake. Last week we stood with low temperatures and a lot of humidity. Today the temperature rate increased. Right now we're at 75 degrees with a little bit of cloud cover and winds out of the southeast at 9 miles an hour. Today we reached a high of 78, which is about 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. Across the state we've seen a range from upper 60s in the northwestern part of Oklahoma to low 80s down by McAllister. Oklahoma City reached 78 and Tulsa made it to 77. Later on tonight, the temperature is going to drop to around 60 degrees, 62 here in Shawnee and in Seminole, and 61 in other parts of the region. We'll have a warm start tomorrow morning at 64 degrees with a few storms throughout the day. By the 5 o'clock hour, we'll be at about 76 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms will move into the area on Saturday with a 50% chance of showers and a high of 81 and a low of 59. A decrease a decrease in temperature will begin from Sunday into the rest of the week. Skies will begin to clear along with the decrease in precipitation percentage, resulting in a high of 78 and a low of 48 for Sunday. On Monday, there's still no chance of showers, but the skies will be cloudy, so the temperature will decrease, making the high 69 and the low 47. We'll see some clouds on Tuesday, bringing it to a high of 69 and a low of 51. Wednesday, we'll see just a 20% chance of rain and cloudy skies, along with a high of 75 and a low of 57. It's going to be a pretty inconsistent week with the various sky patterns, so be sure to stay up to date with all the weather changes, and don't forget to tune in next week for your weather forecast. Lindsay and Jake, back to you.
Shawnee has some great things going on this weekend. Kevin Costner and Modern West will be at the Grand Event Center April 17th at 8 p.m. The Emmy Award-winning actor Kevin Costner founded his country rock band in 2007 and has since released 4 studio albums along with touring across the country. The concert is 21 and older, and ticket prices range from $40 to around $55. For more information and tickets, you can go to cpnboxoffice.com.
Also on the 17th is the Downtown Block Party. Each month of the third Friday, Shawnee features live music, food, art show, photography, and more to join the community together in a fun evening. The block party is presented by the Shawnee Arts Guild, which is a part of Shawnee's Safe Events for Family organization. For more information, you can visit safshawnee.org or call 405-432-4131.
Baseball is in full swing around the country. Laura Hickman with your sports next. Well, fans, the Thunder is out of the playoffs. But there's always next year. Here's Laura Hickman with your sports.
The OKC Thunder's playoff hopes were dashed last night. Although the Thunder pulled out an impressive 138-118 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, they also needed the San Antonio Spurs to beat the New Orleans Pelicans, which didn't happen last night. It will definitely be different without OKC in the playoffs this postseason, as they have made it to the playoffs in the past 5 seasons. But it is almost a merciful ending to the season since so many Thunder players have gotten injured in the past few months, an issue that was an overwhelming reason that OKC has not had a very successful season. Russell Westbrook, however, has had an incredible season for him individually. Scott Brooks said, quote, he's had a season for the ages. He's done things on both ends that haven't been seen in decades. We will miss watching the OKC Thunder during this postseason, but hopefully they can recover and regroup in the 6 months following this tough season. OBU's Quidditch team had a pretty spectacular opportunity recently. Reagan McGowan has more.
Last weekend, the Oklahoma Baptist University Quidditch team competed at the Quidditch World Cup in Rock Hill, South Carolina. To learn more about what exactly Quidditch is and how the team did at World Cup, I spoke with the president of the team, Chandler Smith.
Some people think it's from the books from Harry Potter, which is true. We derived from it, but we adapted it. It's more so of a mix between rugby, soccer, and dodgeball, and it's co-ed full contact.
I also asked how the team did at World Cup this year.
For now, we go for experience. We don't really compete at a high level. We don't have the roster or the talent to do so. So for us, it's more of learning the game, immersing ourselves in the community, and progressing better at a personal level, because as a team we can't compete for any titles at the moment.
I'm Reagan McGowan reporting for News 30.
7th-ranked OBU baseball won both doubleheader games against Mid-America Christian University on Wednesday. The Bison won the first game 13-3 and the second game 4-1. Pitcher Nathan Thompson lasted for 6 innings in the second game and allowed the only run of the game. He struck out 5 batters and improved to 3-0 for his season. OBU wrapped up their 3-game series with MACU this afternoon in OKC. The Shawnee High School baseball team is making a name for themselves this season. They improved their record to 20-4 on Tuesday with a 2-1 win over Durant. Pitcher Eli Davis struck out 8 batters and allowed the Durant Lions only run in the 6th inning. Shawnee scored both of their runs in the bottom of the 5th inning due to 2 errors by Durant. Shawnee is playing in Durant tonight with the first pitch thrown out at 6:30. Yesterday, the MLB honored former Dodgers player Jackie Robinson through events held at every Major League Baseball game. Every player and coach wore a jersey with the number 42 on the back, as that was Robinson's number when he played. Dodger Stadium hosted the biggest event of the night, which included a special video, a tribute during the game, and handed out a mini statue to the first 40,000 fans in the stadium. Robinson's widow Rachel and his kids Sharon and David were present for the special events. The ceremonial first pitch at Dodger Stadium was thrown out by Harrison Ford, who played the character of Branch Rickey, also known as the general manager who gave Robinson a chance to play regardless of his color in the movie 42. The Dodgers part owner Magic Johnson said, quote, "Jackie Robinson probably opened the door to a lot of those guys too, including me. If Jackie hadn't played for the Dodgers, I don't think I'd be an owner of the Dodgers," end quote. Astros manager Bo Porter also commented on the special day, saying, quote, "It's always meaningful when this day comes around. For me, though, it's every day. I was able to play, coach, and manage baseball because of him. He means a lot to this country, and for me, I honor him every day," end quote. That's all for sports this week. Jake and Lindsay, back to you.
Now, the Congress takes on very serious business, but they aren't always serious all the time. Senator Pat Robertson's ringtone interrupted a committee meeting this week.
And we will be expressing our objection to that approach as well. So we're going to be very aggressive on that issue as well as on the geographic preference issue.
Ah, come on. Just let it go, Mr.
Just let it go. You heard it right. That was Let It Go from the very popular movie Frozen. The committee was actually discussing U.S. tariff policy, and the tune definitely changed the mood for a little break. The senator's office was unavailable for comment, but the senator did send a tweet out joking, quote, "Somebody had to tell the Obama administration to let it go." Well, that's all for tonight. Remember to come back next Thursday, April 23rd, and view our last show. You're not going to want to miss it.
Until then, remember to keep updated with what we are doing on our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Shawnee News 30. You also can send us weather pics or news tips at news30@okbu.edu. Until next week, have a great night.